Welcome to Alpha Wolf Capital. I'm Tim, and I want to personally thank you for stopping by. This channel is designed to help small companies, both public and private, gain exposure with potential consumers, investors, even partners. Take, for example, today's guest, CEO and founder Oren Elkayam from Mobilicom, ticker symbol MOB. Mobilicom is a provider of robust cybersecure end-to-end solutions for drones and robotics. They have a proprietary cybersecurity software and hardware solution that powers, connects, secures, and safeguards drones and robotics. They have a unique market position operating at the intersection of cybersecurity, AI autonomy, and drones and robotics. Mobilicom is a multinational corporation listed on the NASDAQ, 50 plus customers, 18 countries, and 34 patents in 2 patent families. But I'm going to let Oren tell you more about that in just a moment. This is not to be taken as investment advice. I am not a certified financial planner. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. I encourage everyone to do their own due diligence. Hey everybody, Tim from Alpha Wolf Capital coming at you with a follow-up interview with I think an underappreciated and an under-recognized story. But I can attest to the fact that I think that is changing slowly but surely. Oren from Mobilicom is here to give us an update on the progress that they're making. And Oren, thank you for doing this, number one. But for those that are not familiar with Mobilicom's story, maybe you could give us a real quick synopsis of what it is exactly that you do.
First, thank you very much, Tim. It's always a pleasure to discuss with you. And as you are, notice our discussion always starts with a very long discussion around all that is happening in our world of robotics, drones, cyber, and so on. So it's always exciting. I'm looking forward for it. So thank you. Mobilicom, in a nutshell, we are a provider of the critical cybersecurity software and hardware solution that enable drones or robotics manufacturer to build their own drones and robots. Those are the elements that connect. Those are the elements that secure. Those are the elements that power and enable those drones or robots to operate. So we are the heart and soul of the robotics and drone industry, and mainly those that are going for autonomy, which is the focus going forward.
Okay. So primarily, and just I want to break this down in layman's terms. So, and maybe people will find this shocking, but drones themselves are vulnerable to hacks, right? And the cybersecurity for the drone industry is, I would say, a little lax. Yes, would that be a good way to define it?
I'm saying that the lower part of the drones or robotics, what we call group one, group two, group three, which is the mass amount, has zero cybersecurity right now.
Zero.
Zero. Not protected whatsoever.
Right. So what that means is that, let's say, for example, someone were going to try and send out a one-way drone with a kinetic on it, and there is the possibility that that drone could be hacked and actually controlled by someone else and sent back to the person that was actually trying to send it out in the first place. Would that be a
Definitely.
good?
Yeah. If you are using in your computer, antivirus, and if your service providers on your company is using firewalls, and if there is different machines that is running all the time and identifying threats and eliminating those threats and securing your system all the time actively, all of those basic things that we know from every other industry do not exist right now as an active continuous cybersecurity on the drones or robots, including that ones that have a bomb at the edge and crush. So someone can control them, hack them, manipulate them, and eventually send them back to you as a present. not a nice present, but a present,
Right.
a surprise.
Right. So and you and I were talking before we hopped on here. There are some recent examples of drone issues with cybersecurity. This is not far-fetched stuff. This is stuff that's actually starting to happen, right?
Yeah, there were several incidents. There is, people don't like to brag about challenges they had cybersecurity and issues that they had. So you have to identify those things. But we already see incidents. There was a nice publication by IBM that shows how they were managed by utilizing a third-party software that provider has put on board of the drone to hack the drone, operate the drone, kidnap the drone, and navigate it whatever they want to do. It's not jamming, it's not interception that we are used to. This is a new way. This is cyber penetration through some activity that some third party did for the drone software, and they use that to hack inside and put their malware and so on. So IBM demonstrated that. There was another demonstration that was showing exploitation of how I can emit electronic wave remotely that is then unbalancing the memory and other elements on the drone machinery on the computers like NVIDIA and others, and by that be able to penetrate or overcome some hurdles and take control of the drone. So there were multiple incidents that showed by credible companies and research that show that it's done remotely very easily. And the main issue is there is no active continuous tool that monitors each one of those robots and drones from within and even alert, hey, something wrong is happening. Would you like to test it?
Right.
And that's the scary part for them.
Right. All right. So you, I mean, may not be familiar with the name, but you're working with some pretty big partners, right? Fleur Teledyne would be one of them, which is no small company. That is a massive company, right? Uh, Israeli Defense. I mean, you have a lot of credentials behind you that should give people solace that this is a real company that knows what they're doing when it comes to cybersecurity.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for mentioning that. But the customers that we have and integrated our solutions with are definitely the blue chip companies from United States, including the US DoD that is for third party and other activities using our solutions and verified our solution and tested and vouched for it and recommended. There is other companies like Airbus, which is the biggest aviation company worldwide, or the top tier players of Israel, like Elbit, Israel Aerospace Industries, Rafael, that are selling billions and billions of dollars in this field, that are using our solutions and selling worldwide, including the government of Israel and the usage of our element during the war that were sent to European countries that eventually sent to the war effort in Europe or the Israeli war and crossing the border on daily basis speaks volume about the credibility and quality of our solutions.
All right. So in terms of, I mean, you've been working on this. This is you didn't start this company a couple of months ago. You've been working on this for years, right?
True.
Okay.
Yes.
And you are now, though, I would say, getting to a point where you could see a real inflection in the business. And I want to talk about the fact that you are part of the blue is it the blue UAS? What so
Yes.
maybe you could just walk us through that real quick.
So one of the amazing milestones that we've been able to achieve recently and got the recognition and certification was the Blue UAS certification. And let's go through that and explain what it means. The Blue UAS certification was started by the DoD of United States under the Department of Innovation to make sure that there are available drones here in the United States which can replace the Chinese drones that were being used very often across the federal market and defense market, and bring secure, safe drones that the US DoD and other government organizations can buy, procure, and use. And from that on, they said, okay, we have to certify what is a blue drone, which is the US certified drone. And they eventually got to the recognition that any drone that have to be blue have to use subsystem, the critical elements from a set of companies that they have tested, validated, approved as vendors for the US DoD. So Mobilicom filed for this program. It was a process that we took us about 2 years to be accepted. You started by the fact that they will not start any process with you if there is no programs of the DoD that wants to use you in volume. Otherwise, they will not even bother themselves to start the process. And after that, they are testing the company and they are testing the product and the supply chain and the cybersecurity and so forth. Just the testing alone, it took us 6 months. It's done by external agencies of the DoD, and Mobilicom, multiple products of Mobilicom were accepted just recently for this. I think there were about, in the recent filing, there was 400 companies filing for that. I think that about 20 was accepted. So you can understand the value, the number. It's not really a very small amount of companies are chosen for different categories, and Mobilicom is over there. And that was a great milestone. What does it imply on Mobilicom? Is until now we've done business with great blue chip companies and others based on our technology, innovation, credibility in the market. But this recent certification that we got and acceptance to the Blue UAS DoD shortlist of vendors they trust is going to affect first the awareness. Mobilicom is getting more and more awareness on that. Second, federal agencies, NATO agencies, US DoD are aware and know that they can ask Mobilicom to be inside their solution and actually recommended as one of the vendors for that. And that means that new OEMs and new vendors are talking to us because eventually, for example, in the area that we are dealing with, there is 4 to 5 different vendors in the telecommunication networking of the drones and robots. In this area that some of our products inside and the electronic warfare of that, there are few companies. So we will gain, and we expect to gain more business, more customers from that will increase our and accelerate the company going forward. And that's very important as a catalyst for financial growth for the company for 2026 onward.
Okay, let's talk about your cash position right now, Oren, and your burn or lack thereof.
So we published, the yearly figures for the company back then, and we just issued a report that summarized the first quarter. A few weeks ago. So we finished the last year. If you're looking on the equity position and so we have about 7.5 shares traded on the Nasdaq. There is additional warrants in the money that are traded. There are additional warrants outside of the money that altogether represent additional $16 million cash in hand. We have started the year with $8 million cash in hand, 8.6, and we have, according to the recent report that we published, 8 million right now. So it means that we are not really burning much, few hundreds of thousands a month. We have no debt, no convertibles, no loans, no credit lines. So therefore, we are really clean. And that could be seen from our fundamental numbers across the last year, but also it continues with this year. It means that with very small increase on our revenue, we can wrap up dramatically. And then with the new customers, the current customers that we already have, we can get with them to cash flow positive company, self-sustain and grow even further than that very fast.
Okay. Number 6, no bank debt, no loans. That's one of my favorite things, Oren. I wanted to really point that one out because debt's a killer. and you don't have any. So you've got a very small amount of shares. You've got cash. You don't need to do a raise. You are in, I would say, kind of the sweet spot right now of after years, you are now kind of in the sweet spot with a blue UAS approved product. And this is where I think it gets really interesting, right?
True. It's I think that the first catalyst for the company growth will be the current customers, the blue chip companies that we already have that use us, and those companies are going to scale as they are going to lock new deals with the government of the United States and others, and that will be the first, as we believe, vector of growth of the company. I believe that it's a short-term thing because decisions have to be made on the U.S. government in the coming quarter, maybe two, the latest. And there is numerous programs over there that they are finalists for. And as they will win one, two, we don't need the entire six, but you can understand that that will transform the company entirely and bring us to profitability. And then new companies based on the blue UAS that we have gained will increase the company even further. And then new innovation and product will even take it even further. So we have three big pillars that will bring us to scalability. But if you're looking on those elements, and oops, sorry, let me
Yep,
show you.
yep, right there.
Yes, so if we are looking on one of the case studies in the United States, which is a giant New York Stock Exchange conglomerate that is working with us for the last 4 years. And it was a long journey to build capabilities with them and be the partner of choice that they took for a long engineering process of building their next drones for the US government. And this is small loitering kamikaze drones that, doesn't come back. So they have to buy again and again and again. Every use, it's one-time use. And then they have done seeding of the market in the last year plus, and we got a sequence of orders again and again and again every quarter for hundreds of thousands of dollars that build the momentum and seeded quite a lot of different agencies and organizations within the US federal and government level. And now they've built production site in Tennessee, building for the future. There are shortlists for several programs of record, and just one will take us to enormous ramp up. Two will double it. Three and four and five is just, is going to be crazy. But just one is going to significantly increase Mobilicom position in the market, because that means that we are scaling to deliver many thousands of systems that translated to over tens of millions of dollars, many tens of millions of dollars. And you understand that that will completely transform Mobilicom. We anticipate that anywhere around $10 million revenue line, because of the high gross margin we have, will take us to profitability. And this is already moving forward in very good pace. Decisions have to be made in the coming quarter or two. That's it.
Yeah.
And then
So
additional programs will be announced, winners again after that. So it's a sequence.
okay. You would say, right? I mean, as I see it, right now, you're in phase four, kind of phase five. I mean, that's where you're kind of that's where you're at right now, right?
Yes.
And that is when I think you will start to see those numbers start to reflect right now. I mean, you can see the partners that you're with, they could get. I mean, you're going to be always a little bit behind them, right? Because one of the things about the Department of Defense or the contracts here is as a supplier and as a small supplier, as a microcap, they don't give you the privilege of being able to drop their name, right? So you kind of have to pay attention to who your partners are and what you do for them in order to put those pieces together, right? So
Yes.
it's not that you can't figure it out, you just have to pay attention to what's happening. right?
True.
So if you see something happening in, a big multi-conglomerate that is announcing something that you could be involved in, there's gonna be a lag period, I guess I would say, right?
So we anticipate that, there will be, one of the biggest in America will announce those things, and then they have to prepare themselves for production scalability, ramp up to the masses. And then in order to meet the demand of the DoD supplying from next year, beginning of next year, they will have to deliver to us the purchase orders, the initial ones, and it will be a sequence running from quarter to quarter, which means that we will have few months after that to announce that, hey, we got the first one of the first of a sequence, and that's it. And then it will accelerate and accelerate and accelerate because the demand is going to increase
Right.
enormously from quarter to quarter.
Yeah.
And those programs of record are allocated for usually 5 to 10 years with extension, and then there is repairs and maintenance and parts. And so all of those things are piling one on top of each other and building more and more and more volume.
So I know you can't share the specific report, but you can uh, address the fact that you've had your cybersecurity software has been tested by Department of Defense. What do you call them? I guess
Evaluate, yeah, the evaluator and testers and
evaluator. Right, right. They
yes. So the DoD, when they are starting to work with you and want to verify your solution, one of the solutions that are testing is the company, the people, the software, the processes, and so on, the supply chain, the manufacturing, the subcomponents. They dismantle every piece and part of that. But one of the items is also a very in-depth cybersecurity testing of your solution. Yes, they are using top of the line American vendors that are testing that for the DoD, and they are taking your stuff. They just ask you to provide it, and they are doing everything by themselves. You are not present over there. It's months and months of testing. It's not a short-term thing. And we got from them the report. The report was a very long 18 pages that describe every testing that I have to do and severity of the different items that they are looking for. There is, critical factors, there is medium factors, and there is low level factors. And they issue a report which the findings for Mobilicom was zero across all of those subjects. And they told us that it's the first time that they have encountered a company that had zero elements to fix, because it's obvious that you will find something. And I was really proud a week ago that they came to our booth in Houston, shook my hand, and says that we made their team very depressed from the fact that they couldn't find any item to fix. And that's build the credibility for Mobilicom on the cyber side as well, which, as you know, one of our focus items and multiple products that we are bringing to the market right now is around making those autonomous drones and robots cyber secure and safe, and protecting them on the go all the time. So yes.
right, right. And this is an unfortunate thing, and I hope I'm wrong about this. Uh, but we have a tendency to not make things a priority until a tragic event happens, right? And um, I think if people make enough noise about this, that maybe we can avoid having a tragic event happen and take this serious because it is an extremely serious issue, right? No cybersecurity at all on some of these drones. That to me is just a frightening proposition. So uh, you have a solution. This is not a product where it's unproven or you don't know. You just said you had kind of like a hackathon, right? Where they've got hackers and they're doing everything they can to try and find a weakness within your product, and they were unable to find any.
Yeah, the disappointed was that they didn't have ability to report anything that they can use in order to do it, and that was their yeah. I think that they were dispersed from that. Yes.
Yeah.
The solution of Mobilicom, the recent innovation that we released to the market, is called the OS3, the Operation Security, Safety, and Standard Compliance. Much like happened in other industries, the automotive industry, the medical industry, and so forth, you have to cyber secure your solutions and have a constant element that is running in the background, monitoring everything that is happening on your machinery or devices, alarming if they are facing any findings or identify issues, and preventing those to continue on the go. And as you understand, autonomous drones and robots are acting every fraction of a second is important. Here, there are elements that are working remotely. They are not supervised by people in most cases, and they will be less and less supervised, working, beyond line of sight. And then if you cannot understand really what is done and what is really happening, you better have a good cybersecurity active on top of them that makes sure that is safe and secure all the time when they are operating behind the scene. And this is where we are got into the game. We have used people that came from the automotive cybersecurity industry, which is very similar. We brought their knowledge. We understand down deep all the needs of drones or robots being active in this industry for many, many years. We have worked with the US standardization activity and be contributing to the standards of the industry in this field. And then we created product that is meeting the requirements of the issues we've seen across the globe, in the Ukrainian conflict, in the Middle East conflict, trends that we've seen in the United States, and so forth. And we are the sole provider to date of a cybersecurity active solution that you can run on a small drone or small robot, because we have a very small footprint and provide a continuous active protection based on the standard.
So if I was a drone manufacturer or a robotics manufacturer, and I was aware of the fact that there really isn't any cybersecurity software to prevent someone from taking over a drone or a robot and potentially doing some damage, I would want that I would want that software embedded on my robot or drone, whether the entity that buys the drone or the robot turns on that security. At least I, as the manufacturer, provided it as the option, right?
Definitely, we make life easy for the drone and robotic manufacturers. We come to them with a very simple deal structure that says, hey, it's an a la carte software. We are doing the integration on your platform by ourselves. And then from the moment it's integrated, you can offer it to your customers. The customers can have two choices. One, they are taking it, and then they have a safe, secure solution that they can trust, and more than anything, that can be reporting if something happens and evolving ahead of time, so bad things will not happen in the future. And that's great for everybody, and they are making extra revenue. And because they are licensing, it's a software license that we are providing, and they are making profit with us, and they are sharing the revenue. So it's great licensing revenue for them and for us. If the customers choose not to take it, the customers are then decreasing the liability of the manufacturer, because they chose consciously not to be protected by cyber package that the manufacturer choose. And therefore, how can they go back to the manufacturer and says, hey, I was penetrated cyber-wise, and if I'm working with this drone for an energy company or harbor or utility, or God forbid, for the army or defense, and some hacking happened and information was stealed, or drone was falling, or something happened, you cannot come back to me if I offered you a security and you chose to opt out. So it's a win-win for them anyway. And
Yep.
that's an easy decision on their end. It's either making more money or reducing your liability. Also, the insurance companies, because drones and robots are going to be very expensive to insure, because if an accident happens, the consequences could be very high. And therefore, the insurance company eventually will have to reduce dramatically the risks, and they can use that as a tool to lower the risk factor, because if they are protected by Mobilicom OS3, then they have a secure system. If they are not protected, we will ask for more premium on your policy, because you are more dangerous for us.
Yep. No, I mean that's all of that makes sense to me, right? So it may not be happening at the pace at which we would like it to be happening today, but like I said, unfortunately, it you have a tragic event, and all of a sudden that becomes a priority, right? And to me, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when that
True.
happens.
Some of the markets in European market declared that from, I think, 2 years from now, they will not allow any drone to fly in the sky if they don't have cybersecurity protection. Some of them already took action. Some of the government DoD bids and already include cybersecurity first requirements, and increasing and elevating the bar. And we see some of the end customers, energy companies, utility companies that are used to use cybersecurity for their other activity, and they have a CISO, cybersecurity leader, in the government and in their corporate, that come to the drone company and say, or robotics, and says, you have to stand to the same level of other elements that we are using and bring us this. If not, we will not be able to use it. So it's already happening from regulatory bid process, or customers that understand that they will be affected. Bosch or Continental or ExxonMobil or other companies like that will be the one that will suffer if cyber breach will happen through drones or robots that they will be using, because someone didn't consider to put it on top of those drones or robots. So they will be the first to ask for those things before they will be deployed on their premises.
Yep, that makes sense. All right, let me ask you: is is there is there anything you feel as though I missed? Is there anything? Yeah, this is good. This is very good. Let's talk about that for a second. The growth pillars, right?
Yeah, so understanding Mobilicom is understanding, for especially for the microcap, is what's going to happen next and why now. Why now Mobilicom is relevant for your investment and for portfolio. So there will be three pillars of growth that will ramp up Mobilicom as a company. First is what is already happening. It's an effort that we started years ago, penetrating tier one blue chip companies that chose with us, designing new products, certify the product, came to the government or other customers, moved to the product program of record, which is the Holy Grail, and already shortlisted. And statistically, they are going to win some of those. Okay. And this
Yep.
is their estimation, and this is our belief with them. And as they are going to do so, it will dramatically affect Mobilicom and will be the first vector of growth for Mobilicom. We showed some case studies. We have more of blue chip companies that our decisions have to be made in the coming months, and then we will scale as they are scaling to mass production. And this is the first avenue for growth for the company. On top of that, the big achievement of being Blue UAS DoD certified and recommended solution will bring to us additional customers. It's unlocking fast track of DoD sales to additional customers that didn't use Mobilicom so far and now are going to in discussion with us to include Mobilicom in their offering. So it's additional stream of growth. And the last one, but not the least, is the new innovation. Some of it we already released to the market as big player in the drones or robotics across software, cyber, and hardware. For example, the OS3, the platform, the AI machines of NVIDIA and Qualcomm that we are protecting on the autonomous drones and robots. Those are the critical aspects, and we are the sole solution based on the standard that exists in the market today. We announced several deals recently. Most of people don't understand those deals, but those signal to the market that first, NVIDIA partners that are designing those, the soul of those drones or robots that will be autonomous elements, chose Mobilicom as their security and cyber solution. And they will sell that with their platform, their NVIDIA platform. And that's part of the first deals that we are doing in the market. And we will have additional deals be announced on that with partnership that will bring us market share. And that will be one of the growth items for Mobilicom going forward. We didn't anticipate the new innovation to be having success in 2025. We anticipated it will happen in 2026, but we already having success in 2025, which is great. So we have three pillars of growth. One, current customers already moving forward, already embedded, already in production with us, winning programs and scaling dramatically. On top of that, the DoD big milestone that we achieved that is bringing new customers already in discussion with us. And on top of that, the new innovation of the cybersecurity of the AI, robots and autonomous platforms that is increasing, and will increase our market share and bring us additional licensing growth as a software.
What are the margins for you, Oren?
So on the hardware, the sophisticated hardware solution that we have over here on the current customers that we seeded the market with, the margins are close to 60%, which is very, very, very high. The cybersecurity elements will be around 90%. And that means that with small increase in the revenue, we can be cash flow positive. And as we will upload more software on the recent hardware that we already embedded, and it's easy cross-sell for us and add additional things because we are already embedded with the hardware. It's easy to cross-sell and embed our software solution, cyber solution. We can double, triple the revenue from customers and then increase the gross margin to the 90% of the licensing model.
So, I would suggest this. I would suggest if you have not heard of Mobilicom, I would suggest starting to do your own due diligence. I would say that, they have been at this now for several years. They have gotten into some big clients, and the drone industry itself, I still think we're in the very beginning stages of. So you're looking at a company that has not been recognized, I don't feel, for what it has accomplished. And this is not a want. This is a need. This is something that is an absolute need. This will save lives. This will become, I believe this will become a priority, big priority at some point. And do you know of any other company, Oren, that is positioned or has the type of product that you have that can do what you can do?
So definitely on the cybersecurity, we are market leader, currently the only solution provider for small size drones or robots, which is the volume of the market. So we've been first here and innovating, and it's based on market work that we've done 3 years ago. It's not something that happened. Although the standards were released recently, we've been working behind the scene for the last 3 years. So that's how we got this leadership. On the other elements that we have hardware-wise and so on, there are other companies, but we are one of few, definitely certified by the DoD of United States and recommended. And we are the sole end-to-end provider of one-stop shop for multiple software, cyber, and hardware solutions. So that's another unique position for Mobilicom in the marketplace. In fact, you spoke about Mobilicom. I think that we are ticking all of the boxes. We have multiple, we are sitting on the cybersecurity market, on the drones or robotics market, and defense tech. So we are right in the middle of all of those three important markets which are scaling. We have proven IP, registered IP, product in the market, in use by government and top tier players, international certification, DoD approval, which we achieved. We have OEMs, big vendors using us. They are already in programs of record, which is great. and we have great cash position and financial position with very, very low burn rate. We don't need anything. We are waiting for the next milestone that will come that are short term, and that will transfer the company entirely.
Yeah. So I mean, I can say, or you can say, you know who all the players are, and the up and coming players, right? You know Red Cat, you know UMAC, you know. I mean, you are very dialed into the industry. Would you agree with that?
Yes, so all the big players like Teledyne FLIR, and you mentioned Red Cat, and you mentioned Skydio, and we mentioned Paladine and Ocean Power. So all of those big American players and vendors that are going to scale, yes, we know them very well. We are working with some, and those that we don't work, we will work with them very soon.
Yeah. Okay. What question didn't I ask that I should have asked?
No, I think that we discussed different things. It's an update. There is the recent video that you've done a few months ago. If people want to listen, what happened then, what happened now, compare the things and see the movement and change in very short time, they are welcome to do so. And we are available over here, to answer any question.
Yep.
And just follow us. We don't need you to do anything. Just follow. And as other smart people said, buy one share and follow us.
That is great, great advice. I mean, I would go to their site. I would sign up for their email alerts or their newsletter, and just start paying attention to the story, right? And I think in the next couple of quarters, I think that you'll be glad that you did. That's where I'm going to leave it. Oren, thank you so much for your time, and we'll have you back when there's something significant for you to talk about, right?
Definitely. Talk to you in a few months. Thank you.
All right, Oren. Hold on one second. I'm going to shut this off. Thank you for tuning in to another CEO interview here at Alpha Wolf Capital. Today we had Oren Elkayam from Mobilicom, ticker symbol MOB. I hope you enjoyed today's interview, and if you did, do us a favor, give us a like. How about giving us a share? And while you're at it, make sure you smash that subscribe button. All of those things are extremely important to us here at Alpha Wolf Capital, and we appreciate you taking the time to do that. Until next time, stay safe. Alpha Wolf Capital wishes you the very best of success.